Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Tejasvinavadhitam Tejasvinavadhitamastu Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai Ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There is no other way of chanting. There is only one way of chanting. I heard Hindu sannyasis yesterday singing, chanting. These two days, some meet I went to attend. Oh, all kinds of things. Small, paying attention to what I learned properly. There are certain things in Indian, this literature, Sanskrit literature, there is something you have to chant. Chants ought to be chanted, not recited. There are verses to be recited, not chanted. There is prose literature to be read, neither recited nor chanted. And there are songs one has to sing. You can't recite, you can't chant. A song is to be sung. So what we have is a verse which is to be recited, but is allowed when one wants to present it in a musical form, one is allowed. That's what's being done. But that also should be proper. We can't mano buddhi ahankara chitta ninaham nacha shrotra jighve nacha grana netre nacha vyoma bhumi na tejo navayu chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. I try. I don't get it. So it has got to be in a melodic form which gives you certain absorption. So very serious material involved. Let us look at it. Mukesh ji will sing. I'm not going to sing here. nor I can sing. So I am just going to recite. Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. Nacha shrotra jihve nacha grana netre nacha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayuhu chidananda rupaha Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Na aham, naham. I am not. Na aham, naham. When I ask you, what is a table? What do you mean by a table? I have to tell what is table. I need not say table is not a tree, table is not an umbrella. I need not negate the whole world to point out the table. But when something is misconstrued, then what the object is to be told by first negating the error, the erroneous perception, then what is to be told. There are only two words that we need to know really seriously. Because there are only objects referred by two words. One is I, aham. The other is naham. What I am not. Very interesting. I and not I. Dvau hi padartau atma anatmanau. Dvau hi padartau. There are only two words whose meanings are there. That means there is no third padartha. There is no third word whose meaning is not covered by these two words. Dvauhi padartha. In Sanskrit, there are some advantages. Padam means a word. Padyate anena iti padam. Something is known through this, and therefore that means of communication of that something is called padam, a word. Padyate jnayate anena iti padam. By this an object is pointed out, referred. See how the word explains its own meaning. There is no arbitrary decision. The word explains itself. The root has got its own meaning. A root meaning is arbitrary. The word explains. Root is not a word. The word explains itself more often than not. So, padyate anena iti padam. Having said that, then what is padartha? The object, the meaning of the word is padartha. Therefore, all objects are called padarthas. It's so easy for me to teach. If the audience knows what I teach, of course. I mean the words that I use, these kind of words, Sanskrit words. It's so easy. Because your thinking is in a different sphere. Not simple block thinking. It's more basic. When you say an object is one thing, padartha, there is so much to talk about. Whole Vedanta I can unfold through the word padartha. That's enough. The one single word is enough to talk about everything. Pada and padartha. Yes, don't worry. So, dvauhi padarthau. There are only two things. The things and all that also are just useless. There is no thing that I am going to talk about. Look at this. I have no translation. Dvauhi padarthau. There are two meanings of words. What will I say? Two things referred by words. Two words. And one thing is, now look at this, having used the word thing, one thing is you. I. One thing is I. Are you a thing? Huh? Therefore, you commit the original sin, afterwards you get into trouble. You commit a mistake. Padarthas are two things. Then one of the things is you, means I. I am a thing. And everything else is another thing. Okay? In Sanskrit, we are safe. I am not a thing. I am the meaning of the word I. The other is the meaning of the word not I. Perfect. There is no third thing. Why not, Swamiji? I. Whatever that I means, I. Then the I refers, whatever it refers to something, some meaning, and what is not covered by the word I is not I. Therefore, this is either I or not I, correct? This desk is I or not I. So this room is I or not I. The earth is I or not I. Very obvious not I, okay? So it's all not I. And so the sun is not I. Moon is not I. If moon is I become Mooni. Mooni has got another word, loony. It's better not I. Moon is not I. Sun, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Mercury, not I. Solar system is covered. Neptune, Uranus, all right, not I. You can include that also. We are interested in that. We don't need those things. For astrology, we don't need. Not I. All the constellations, not I. Galaxies, not I. Therefore, anything that may exist which I don't know, not I. All that I know, then I have to say, all that I know, other than whatever I know as myself, not I. Is there anything third? I and not I. Is there a third thing? Somebody said, God. God is a third object. So if it is a third object, it is not I. It's not a third object. There is only I, not I. If God is different from you, not I. Now you understand. God in heaven, not I. God is formless, but He is in heaven, not I. God is formless and needs a location. Formless God needs location. Think about little. Little thinking doesn't cost you much. Too much thinking is a problem. A little thinking you can afford to have. Formless God doesn't need location. Therefore, when you pray, don't look like that, because already you have decided He is not here. And formless God, having a street address in heaven, between us, don't tell anybody, he's a male. He's a he. They are very definite about it. Is a he. You talk to a born-again guy, you will get enlightened more. Because I don't have all these arguments. You will hear from him. Say he. Whatever, it is not I. If God is other than me, it's a not I. Then, if I say, not I is not God, then I become God. Then I become God, I have another name called God, that's all. You can call me God. Don't ask me too many questions because I don't know. So this God becomes I. Then I have a meaning of myself, and that meaning doesn't fit into God meaning, and therefore we get confused. What shall I do? I cannot be God. Therefore not I God. So your God is other than yourself, then it is not I. Someone said, why not God is both you and I and not I? If that is so, we need to know. We need to know a lot. Why? Because then there is an I, there is not I. If something has to be both I and not I, when I understand categorically this is not I, this is I, then for something to be both I and not I, well, that's something to be understood properly, and there is so much involved in that kind of statement But it only tells me one thing. What I said, there are only two things, I and not I. Then there is nothing beyond I and not I. In fact, these two are swallowed. If you say both are God, then even two are God now. Correct? Let us not get into that kind of a problem now. There are only two things to begin with. There is I and not I. The meaning of the word I, the meaning of the word not I. Atma anatmanau. Atma anatma. Atma means aham, I, not I. Now there is a certain analysis here. We need to draw a line between I and not I. A line runs between I and not I, separating I from not I. Where does this line run? You don't take any object as yourself, correct? You don't take the tree as yourself, the sun or moon or stars, any one of them as yourself. The cats and dogs are not taken as yourself. Even though one fellow thought he was a cat. He was a special person, that's okay. He thought he was a cat. He won't come out of his house because the street was full of dogs. He thought he was a cat. He won't come out. And he was taken to a therapist, very creative therapist. And the therapist brought a cat from his own house, set up a mirror in his room. He held the cat in his hand and stood before the mirror, asked him to stand. Asked him, what do you see there? This one said, I see you, and you say, I see the cat in your hand. Then what else you see? And he said, I see myself. And that is you? Yes. What is it in my hand? It's a cat. Do you look like this cat? No. Are you a cat? No. Then how can you take yourself to be a cat? That was a mistake. That was a mistake. I'm sorry. It's a mistake. The therapist thought that he did a job. Very quick job. Eh? So it was so easy. Even though the therapist knows this fellow will come back, but so then he thought at least today he has done a good job. Went away. Still he won't come out of the house. Why he won't come out of the house? Well, you have to ask him. And then the therapist wanted him to be brought back to him. He was brought back to him. I said, what happened? Are you a cat? Not at all. Then why you don't come out of the house? He has he laughed derisively. He said, Doctor, don't you know this? What? I know that I am not a cat. How do I know? How does anybody know? Dogs don't look at me, as a cat. How do I know? Special person. A special person, why do you call him a special person? Because he needs a permanent specialist, okay? Not one time you go and come back. It's over. Needs a specialist and therefore a special person. This is a case. I am not talking about that person. Understand? The world is different from you. Cat is a cat, dog is a dog. Everything is different from you. All right? Where does the line run? And not even the clothes I wear, close to my body, all of them are not I, correct? They are all not I. T-shirt is not I. Everything is not I. The rings you wear, all not I. So obvious now. The line runs where this anatomy is. In fact, it is not one single line like this. In this universe, linga, lingatmaka, andatmaka, is a brahmandatmaka. In this vast cosmos, like a linga, then I am carved out. It's not a line. I am carved out. The line runs all around. I am carved out. And that means there is not I all around me. And that me is anatomy. This is not I. If a bullet goes here, no problem. I will say, thank God, thank God, thank God. What? I was not hit. I was not hit. Right? Therefore, even a bullet passes through my 2 fingers. Thank God, thank God. I am not touched. So I am here. Beyond the extremities, I don't exist. Therefore, where does this not I begin? Where I ends. Correct? Where I ends. I ends here, I ends here, I ends here. Whether the nose, whichever is farther for you. So the nose, where the nose ends, the world begins. Not I begins. And therefore this not I let us call it as idam pratyaya artaha vishayaha. Idam pratyaya vishayaha. A pratyaya is a cognition. Vishaya is object. The object of cognition, pratyaya vishaya. Idam pratyaya vishayaha. An object of cognition, an object of knowledge, perception, what kind of object? Idam pratyaya. The object of this cognition. So this flower, this is opposed to I. This is not I, is this. So this cognition, technical, this is this flower, this sun, this moon, this Jupiter, this Mars, this earth, this tree, this leaf, this table, this chair, this flower. So when you say this flower, there is a cognition of flower, correct? There is a cognition of flower, knowledge of flower. So this cognition has an object. And therefore, so this cognition of flower is this cognition. Means this flower cognition, this flower cognition. Okay? This flower cognition or this cognition for which object is flower. Therefore, this joins flower. This flower cognition. This is now substituted by what? This crystal cognition. Correct? This crystal cognition. Okay? This cognition of crystal. We call this as this cognition. Who has this cognition? I have. Therefore, so I I am having a cognition of myself. There is a self-cognition. I am the object of I cognition, opposed to object of this cognition. Understand now? This is a very big thing. So object, any object, we can refer it by the word this sun, this moon, this Jupiter, this earth, this tree, this man, this woman, and this book, this flower. Wonderful. So all these are not I. We are understanding not I. All these are not I. So what I can refer as an object of this cognition is not I. What I identify as the object of I cognition is I. Wow, wonderful. Now, what do you identify? As object of I cognition. Let me hear a little bit. This body, correct? This body. When the body is sitting, I am sitting. Body is standing, I am standing. Body is tall, I am tall. Short, I am short. And the body is black, I am black. White, I am white. Therefore, I am the object of I cognition, and the object is body. Is it a mere body? Whatever the body has is all me. Oh. What does this body have? This is a live body. It has 5 senses. It has 5 pranas. It has mind. All these are me. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? After all, you are the object of I cognition. And that means the object of I cognition cannot be, should not be, object of this cognition. Correct? Correct. This cat, this dog, remember that. This cat, this dog. Then how do you know you have a body? Does the body tell I am the object of I cognition? Or you are able to objectify. You objectify flower. The flower is object of this cognition. Correct? And my hand is the object of this cognition. Interesting thing, I want to tell you one thing. I say anatma. My world is anatma, not I. It's all object of this cognition, which includes what? Every body that I see here. Correct? Every body that I see here as what? As not I, not I, not I. Object of this cognition, object of this cognition, object of this cognition. Wow. But when I say it is an object of this cognition, you say it is an object of I cognition. Are we confused here? Huh? For me, it is an object of this cognition. Very obvious. And for you, it's not an object of cognition at all, this cognition. No, Swami. I look at this body, drop this cognition, okay? It's nothing. What I'm saying is, do you objectify your body or not? Do you recognize this body or not? How do you say that I am tall? Swami, I am a basketball player. Therefore you are tall? No, I know. I know my height. The other day I measured. How tall you are? I'm 6 feet 2 inches. Oh. So you know this body, 6 feet 2 inches. Yes, I know. You know this body? Yes, I know this body, tall body. You know this flower? Yes, I know this flower. The flower you are not? No, I'm not flower. Why? Because I know this object, flower. It's an object of this cognition. Oh, your body? My body also is object of this cognition. But how do you say, I am the body? You know, if you do like this, that means I don't know, I need not know. I don't know. It is both object of this cognition, is object of I cognition. Hey, come on. Talk slowly. I know you get away with this kind of fast talking. Nobody understands, therefore you get away with it. Don't pull that fast one on me. I go slow. I know this body is a part of anatma. I am very clear. I never take your body as my body, and therefore it is not I. My world includes your body. And I am aware your world includes my body. Not only my world includes your body, this is what I know, my world includes my body also. Wow. Then, how come we always say, body is sitting, I am sitting here? That means you have a special relationship with this body. There are houses and houses in the world. One house is your house. Correct? There are people and people. This is my mother. There are bodies and bodies. This is my body. No problem. That's a special relationship. My body is not me body. Understand that? It's me body. Therefore, me body puts a certain responsibility on me. It reveals certain self-identity, which is, if that is, when it is not true, it's not me body, it is my body. If my house is under repair, it's not I am under repair. Correct? If my body has certain problems, it can be confined to the body. Why should I say all the problems belong to me? Or centered on I? I am ill, problem. Problem. So if this I is identified as this physical body, I are equated to this body. The body is equated to I. Definitely there is confusion. Therefore, these verses negate this confusion one after the other. It's not at one level there is confusion. There are levels and levels of confusion. On all our levels of experience revealing the self, centered on the self, there is confusion. And so, the correction at every level is there. We will see when we come back. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om